Happy Monday, everybody. Andy and Steve from WagerTalk.com going over the road to millions on the last day of July. Personally, I'm glad July is over. It's been a really crazy month for me outside of betting purposes. So happy to wrap up July. We've got a really good show for everybody today. We are going to go over, we're calling it the Betting Lab now. We called it Betting Notes. I couldn't come up with a good name, so we're just going to call it the Betting Lab. We're going to go over just some thoughts, some props, some things that we've just noticed here for you all bettors to keep their eye on. We are going to do the weekend recap. And then we are going to do a surprise bankroll reset day. Normally, our bankroll reset day is on Wednesday. We do not have any play. We are not in play for anything tonight. So we're just going to use today as our reset day. We're up very small for the week. So I want to take that unit and a half and just call it a week and give us, a day's head start on next week. So we're going to do that. And of course, that means we got to do our best bet, worst bet, and then we will do the streak of the day at the end. I will tell everybody one play that we have up. It's our UFC best bet of the week. It's $9 Monday. Grab that. 3-0 over the last couple events in UFC. So we are starting to really turn around UFC. We were down over a month. It was not good. Kind of took a step back, got back to what we do best, and it's turned out well. So grab that $9 Monday. Price goes up at midnight tonight. All right, Steve, let's get into the betting lab. This is just some notes that we have. I'll give it to you first. I'm assuming you're going to go over a few things in baseball, so tell us something that you've noticed.
Well, one thing I noticed, I'm looking at a ice cold hitter that's been having a brutal time at the plate recently. George Springer from Toronto, 1 for 39 in his last 10 games. This is just a brutal streak. He's 1 for 39 with a single over those last 10 games.
Oh, I didn't know it was that bad.
It's pretty bad. Batting 181 with 2 home runs in the month. So he's usually the leadoff hitter for the Blue Jays. This weekend, they drop him to fifth in the order, and he responds by going for 0 for 13. Today he Today he faces Kyle Gibson, who he's 3 for 19 against, with only singles. He hasn't had an extra base hit against him either. I'm looking at him. He's obviously. I think there's something wrong with him potentially physically, or there's something going on with him. He has been the best season for him, but he's obviously been doing far better than that prior in the year, and he's obviously really struggling at the plate. Today you can get his under one hit at plus 190. Under half a hit, I should say, at plus 190. You can get his under hits plus runs plus RBIs at plus 110. That's 1.5. So that's a great plus money play. Looking at him today, and that's my guy today. The ice cold north of the border, George Springer.
Holy cow. I had heard something last week about a slump. I didn't know it continued, and now it's on 1 for 39. That is rough, man. Wow.
Yeah, it's brutal time at the plate for Springer.
Betting lab from my perspective here. So the UFC video, fight by fight breakdown video is up on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, and best bet of the week is up. A couple things for Betting Lab. The Dana White Contender Series starts in a couple weeks. I was 7-3 in Dana White Contender Series last season. They do it 10 weeks. I just said, give me one bet a week. I was 7-3, and one of the bets that I lost was our fighter got injured 1 minute in. So I don't know what was going to happen. And ironically, the guy that won because of the injury fought on Saturday and got finished. so it did not equate to success. But Dana White Contender Series is coming up, and we also have a PFL and Bellator event. Good friend Jim Malero and I have been calling it the Save Your Money events. There are some. As soon as these lines come out, guys, we will be firing away. So on Wager Talk, as soon as you see a PFL and Bellator combo pack, we've been eyeing these for literally 6 weeks. Like, we saw the card and we were like, we need these in there. So I've got some really good, exciting things coming up for UFC. And for the event this Saturday, I went into it just kind of looking at the fights. I went into it thinking it wasn't very bettable. Turns out it is bettable. I changed my mind a lot on some of the film work. So it's why I really work hard to take the time to watch all of these fights and all these fighters. It takes a lot of time, but you get clarity, and it's really worked well the last couple weeks. So my betting lab, UFC, big exciting things coming up. I'm very excited for that. So what else you got, Steve? Things that bettors should know.
Yeah, I'm also looking at where some of these running backs are going to land in the NFL. We were talking earlier about the Patriots working out Ezekiel Elliott, and obviously they need some depth now with Damian Harris leaving. They need someone to back up Stevenson, to take some of the carries from Stevenson. And it's looking like the workout went well, and they'd like to have him, but they still prefer to have Dalvin Cook. So it looks like maybe the Patriots may be adding Cook. I know that the Jets are involved in that as well. So a lot of moving parts here. Stevenson's a guy I was really high on coming into the year, and I still am. Looking at his futures for his rushing yards or even his touchdowns or combo yards when those come out. But you have to wait and see if they add Cook, that could be take some significant carries away from Stevenson this year, obviously.
I kind of look at it the other way. Like, obviously, like when you draft in your fantasy drafts, like someone like Stevenson, you're like, oh, I want him to get all the carries. I kind of want him to have a complimentary back. I don't want him getting 25, 30 touches in the first 4 weeks. Yeah, it looks great on paper until he breaks down in week 8 and then he's worthless. So I don't know, from team and props perspective. I mean, team wise, that would obviously help if they brought somebody in. Like, props perspective kills it, doesn't it? Makes it tough. That's the
makes it really tough for props. Like you said, I mean, I wouldn't be excited about him getting run into the ground either, but I also wouldn't want there to be like a 50-50 timeshare. I feel like if they added Zeke, it'd be more like a 65-35, something along those lines. I'd be happy with. That's what I think would be the sweet spot for Stevenson this year. I'm looking at him still having a huge year this season, though.
Yeah. Something else for us, what has been working is these cross-sport parlays. And WagerTalk's actually just going to add their own category of cross-sport parlays. So I'm excited about that because, as far as I know, I think we might be the only ones that do it. So, but it's cool.
Number one.
Yeah, number one. We'll be able to say we're number one. So no, I mean, that those cashed again. We hit a CFL and golf parlay, and we hit a CFL and Formula One parlay. These have been really, really valuable, a really good part of the bankroll. In fact, I was talking to Corbin. Maybe we increase the percentage from 2 to 3%. We know how the gambling gods feel about that, so I'll have to consult with them and see. We'll probably just keep going with where we're going in the CFL. It's kind of a tough schedule in CFL because, listen, it's no secret what we're doing. We're taking the really good teams against the bad teams. That's our strategy. Fade the bad teams. We have the BC Lions and the Blue Bombers. They're two of the best teams in the league, and they play each other. So that kind of takes away a game. So if the two good teams are playing each other, that means the bad teams are playing each other. So yeah, the Red Blacks and the Rough Riders, that's going to be a tough game. The Tiger Cats and the Alouettes, that'll be a tough game. The Argonauts and Stampeders. A betting note, the Stampeders are really bad against the run. I almost put in the running back for the Montreal Alouettes last night to go over his rushing total. It was 49.5 because the Stampeders can't stop anybody. He went over by halftime. So fading the Stampeders running game, player props, because DraftKings now offers player props in the CFL. That's what I'm going to look towards moving forward. I think that's going to be a really valuable one. The last 3 games, they have been absolutely shredded on the ground. So let's look for some running back player props to go over when they're playing the Calgary Stampeders. Golf, we've got the Wyndham this week. It's kind of similar to last week, where not a bunch of big names because they're getting ready for the playoffs, which I believe starts next week. But we cashed both of our plays last week in the kind of a lesser field very easily. No sweats on the golf plays, so that was a good 4-unit addition to the bankroll. I expect something different. Expect 1 or 2% plays. So valuable if we can grab 4% on the golf this week. So that's kind of my departments, Steve. So do you have anything else for baseball this week?
That's really about it. I was just looking at, I mean, we were fortunate. We're going to get into it when we look at the weekend recap, but we were fortunate we've been fading the Rockies fading the Rockies when they play on the road and considering playing them. at home, and they had the A's at home this weekend, and we considered fading the A's in Colorado this weekend, but luckily we didn't because the A's took 2 out of 3, and
Yep.
almost, yesterday was a close one as well. So we dodged a bullet there, and we'll be looking at some more series coming up this week.
Yeah, we laid off some losers, laid off some winners, but that's all part of the process. So, all right, we're going to get into the Road to Millions. If you have not seen the original Road to Millions video, it is on the Monday, June 26th YouTube channel. The Bankroll Builder spreadsheet. If you still haven't downloaded that, come on, download it. You can track the bankroll. We're going to go over our Bankroll Reset here in a little bit. It also should be in a pinned a pinned comment on today's video. So go ahead and check that out. Plays that are up right now, just the UFC. But if you want to grab a 30-day pass, and that promo code for a year still works, Andy365, get you a year's worth of plays. So right now we're in play for UFC. Get that before the line moves. So, all right, let's get to our Bankroll Reset. So, guys, normally we do our Bankroll Reset day on Wednesday. This week, I'm going to call a little bit of an audible. We probably will not have a play tonight. Maybe Corbin was thinking about doing an under or so in Women's World Cup. The unders have been great. I got to be honest, I couldn't sleep one night, got up, started watching a Women's World Cup game, live took an under, and then 2 minutes later, they got a penalty kick. I ended up cashing, but it was a pretty rough live bet. So the unders have been the name of the game in the Women's World Cup. So Corbin may have a play. So all access clients, get ready for that. That'll be out. If it comes out, it'll be out later tonight. All right. So how do we do last week? It's like any other week that we take the good and the bad. And so as of today, from last Wednesday to today, we're up plus 1.5 units. Does not sound like much, but I got to be honest, with the way the month of July has gone, just for me personally, I'm happy to just take my unit and a half and reset on the week. So not a huge amount of profits, but I got to say, good friend of the show, Bob, he said something in the UFC chat that was great. It was, what words live by? He's like, you'll never go broke if you're turning a profit. And so it's like, yeah, great point. So I'm not here to brag about plus 1.5 units, but we grind away. So our units last week were $9.88 if we started with that original bankroll. So we add 1.5 units, we're over 1,000. So 1 unit from this moment forward for the next week is going to be $10.03. If you just want to make it $10, that's fine. But yeah, just we're gonna reset today, and then the 5% play on the Women's Cup cards looks great, and some of those futures that we put in for like half units are starting to close out in cash. So I know we cashed one already, so we'll keep everyone up to date on the unit. So plus 1.5 units. And unfortunately, Steve, baseball carried us. We had some really good weeks of baseball. That was kind of the downside this week. Golf, great. We only had 2 plays, cashed those. UFC only had 1 play, cashed that. Tennis was, I believe, kind of a wash. Formula One, great again. Although we did have a miracle with Lando Norris finishing inside the points. Long story, but I can't believe we cashed that one. But yeah, baseball, it was just. It could have been worse, like you said. Like we could have played the Rockies and stuff, but my God, where did the Royals come from? What was that? We were on the Royals, and
Yeah, there's no way to sugarcoat it. We were bad in the MLB this week, and this weekend especially. And it's a shame because we had been in such a hot streak, and it had been carrying us in a lot of ways in some aspects, but. Yeah, we caught the Royals at the wrong time. The Twins had dominated them throughout the season, and this weekend, the Royals sweep really bit us, and the Twins just couldn't get anything going at the plate. It's amazing just to see a team that's fighting for their division that's unable to win a game against a team that's that bad. You know what I mean? Even though they're on the road, but you can't win them all in it, and we'll look to bounce back this week and have a strong week this week. That's what we're looking forward to.
Looking forward to. I believe we'll go over it on Wednesday's show when the trade deadline is over. We should have our it's like an annual list of teams to bet against. I feel like this is like our bread and butter. This is like the perfect time of year for us, where trade deadline, who's buying, who's selling, and who are we going to bet against the rest of the season.
Yeah, and we
So,
have some good spots shaping up with that as well. Looking at who's been traded, and there'll be some great teams to fade, some great teams to ride moving forward. I'm excited about it.
all right, let's do best bet, worst bet.
That was terrible. Horrendous. I'm offended. I'm appalled. So what are we going to do?
All right, well, worst bet of the week, got to go with baseball, and it was the Saturday one, right?
Yeah, 10-7 Royals victory there. What really bit us about this one was in the 6th inning, Carlos Correa comes up there. Twins are down 7-5, bases loaded, 1 out. Correa comes up. This is our chance here to maybe even, one swing of the bat we could be covering. He promptly hits into a double play, and that was really the story of the weekend for him. It seems like he couldn't get on base or do anything for us. We sat there and watched Bobby Witt Jr. Nearly have a hit for the cycle, as Bailey Ober just was a complete shell of himself at the mound. It was a horrible game, and obviously I'm showing my disgust with it right now. But yeah, that was easily the worst bet of the week, and an easily one that I'll gladly put behind me.
Correa was awful. He was terrible this week. He was. We were following these games, and every time he was up to bat, including the first bat of the game, you're just like, oh, this guy again.
When he got a hit late in the game on Sunday, I literally I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe to see him get. And then what was great about that one, though, is he got the hit, and the base runner that was on ran into an out at home trying to
Right.
score in a spot where he probably shouldn't have been trying to score, because they needed more than just one run. You know what I mean? So that he ran into an out in a spot where they needed multiple runs. It's never a good thing.
No, so yeah, we're happy to put that. We're happy to put this week of baseball behind us. We're taking today off. All right, best bet of the week.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Got to be the 3% UFC play. Really a no sweat. I said for the very beginning of this card, my favorite bet was Roman Kopylov over Claudio Ribeiro. Romanov comes out and hits him with an absolutely brutal head kick. It was gorgeous. He fainted like he was going for a body kick. Ribeiro drops his arm, and Romanov or Kopylov comes over the top and just smashes him right in the face. Like in the moment when we were doing Takedown Live, I said, I hope he's okay. That's how flush that head kick hit him. And then the next piece of the parlay, Bonfim over Trevin Giles. Never a doubt. He gets the full mounted guillotine. That is 2 wins in the UFC for Bonfim by the same submission move. A full mounted guillotine, which is kind of crazy. So, but UFC, I'm glad to have this sport back on track. That's 3-0, and that is the play that we have up on $9 Monday. So, encourage everybody to get that one. All right, Steve, let's do streak of the day. Before we do that, 9-0. 9-0. The Dodgers lose again on a Sunday to the Reds. They gave up 14 hits. This Dodgers losing on Sunday continues. They do not play today, though, correct? So we can't come back on Monday. However,
Tuesday.
A little birdie told me that we may be in play on the Dodgers on Tuesday. The Sunday thing keeps rearing its ugly head for them. And I think Tuesday is probably a pretty good spot. Call this a free play or whatever, but we've been talking about this, so I don't think it's that big of a secret. It's a gift that keeps on giving, I guess, right?
It's just I don't normally believe in these trends based on days of the week. I said that before, but in this case, the proof's in the pudding. You know what I mean? The
Can't
Dodgers,
argue it.
They can't argue it, and we've talked just about how they're built and how they're kind of built to have a letdown on a Sunday and then pick up the week strong again on whether they start on Monday or Tuesday.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's get to our streak of the day.
Woo! We're streaking! We're streaking! Woo! Woo! Come on!
All right, let's talk the Angels. The team total, 3.5. Feels low for a team. It feels really low for a team that's been scoring runs, but this is not going to be a play for us. We're staying off of it. Tell us why.
What got me looking in this direction is the addition of Grichuk and CJ Cron from the Colorado Rockies. That's some instant offense for this lineup potentially. And there's some great hitting conditions today in Atlanta. They're going to be on the road, so they're going to be guaranteed to have a full 9 innings of at-bats to get these 4 runs. And like you said, it's a nice low total. What you don't like about this play is you see the Angels this weekend, they only scored 5 combined runs in 3 games in Toronto. So the offense has been a little bit sluggish. And then you got to look at integrating these new bats into the order. While it will probably be a good thing long term, it might take a little time for them to get worked into the order. What spot they're in. Just being comfortable being with the team again. And there's no guarantee either that they were to start today either. It seems like they will be, but there's no guarantee of that. But one thing it looks like is the Angels are buyers, obviously, here. Ohtani's not going anywhere because they're adding pitchers, they're adding hitters, so they're looking to build around Ohtani as opposed to get rid of him, which could potentially mean that maybe in the future Trout will be dealt.
Yeah, so Angels, yeah, man, we love those team totals when they get down to 3.5. But yeah, there's some red flags there. And what was the pitcher that was you could read his lips in the dugout as like, why are we pitching to Ohtani? He's the only guy in the lineup that can hit. It's so true. It's so true. Like, just walk him. Who cares if someone's on first? Like, just get through him.
It's getting to that point where you almost have to, right? I mean, it's like Barry Bonds when they would walk him with the bases loaded just to get him out of the way. You know what I mean? And give up a run, easiest way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing what he's able to do with as both a pitcher and a hitter. I mean, the Angels adding around him might not be the worst idea. He's obviously going to be huge for them in the future as far as marketing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this Monday, last day of July. Happy to get out of July. We grabbed the unit and a half and called it a week on the road to millions. So not a huge week, but way, way better than a losing week. So looking forward to this week. We are going to be low volume. I believe we only had 16 or 17 plays. And so I would expect numbers to be around there, maybe even a little bit lower this week. So looking forward to a really, really good week. We will not have a play tonight, but we will be back tomorrow, hopefully, to get our official Road to Millions week started. So good luck on this Monday. Grab the UFC play if you don't have it already. It's $9 Monday. All plays can be found on WagerTalk.com. Good luck. Let's have a great Monday.